All right, welcome to Lambo's World of Sports, featuring Big Brother feature on Sideline Sports Network. International Series on Sunday in London, right in early in the morning. By the way, if you go to the UK and you're a dude and whatnot, all the women love the United States people. They love Americans, all right? They love Americans. Not only that, but they love football in London, American football, all right? So Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Buffalo Bills, a great quarterback matchup. Trevor Lawrence versus Josh Allen. By the way, I understand that Trevor Lawrence is married, but I know to all you UK people out there, all you females, you're going to be rubbing on his hair and all that stuff, and you're just going to faint once you see that man. Um, I'm just being honest. But in retrospect, the Jacksonville Jaguars have been struggling pretty bad on the offensive end, and their defense has been very, very suspect. I thought they had a chance 2-3 weeks ago to beat the Chiefs, but they only scored 9 points. But the Chiefs defense is great. Jacksonville Jaguars got blown up by the Houston Texans. The Texans are not supposed to be good, but according to stats, C.J. Stroud has at least 1,200 yards passing and no interceptions, at least in the past 3 or 4 weeks, which is incredible for a rookie. But this is Josh Allen we're talking about, all right? I know the whole Josh Allen slander with the Dak Prescott slander, and I get it. The slander isn't the same, or it's really completely lopsided, but it's a different conversation for later. Josh Allen is still a great quarterback, all right? I understand he turns the ball over a lot. He's very loose when he runs it. I get it. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to win this game because their defense is still great. Tre'Davious White is out for the year with a torn ACL, which is not good. Von Miller does have a chance to come back in this game as well, maybe this week, maybe next week. He's coming back sooner than expected. I think DeMar Hamlin as well, I think, is already played, or if I'm wrong, correct me. He's supposed to be playing as well after that horrific hit last year against the Bengals. I'm very confident, like I said, the weapons, Stefon Diggs, Gabe Davis, all right, James Cook, their running back. Their run game has increasingly got a little bit better from last year. Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator, he's doing some things with Josh Allen. The only thing that's going to stop the Buffalo Bills from winning this game is Josh Allen throws 3 interceptions. I am confident in the Buffalo Bills winning this game. The score could be a 40-point score. I feel like this score is going to be maybe 30-17 Buffalo Bills. Like I said, the Buffalo Bills have won the division the last 3 years. Very confident. They're a top 5 offense. I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills. I'm not really confident in Jacksonville Jaguars. I understand Trevor Lawrence is a great, talented quarterback, but the chemistry between him and Calvin Ridley, even though he was suspended last year, the chemistry is somewhat out of sequence and it's still not there.
Yeah, I'm riding with the Bills as well. I've got it 31-24. I do think the Jags will score some points, but just to correct, Trey White tore his Achilles, not his ACL. Either way, he's out for the season. And I did also read that Von Miller has publicly said he might play this week. I would assume that's more up to the coaches, so we'll have to see on Sunday. But the Bills offense after week 1 has just been cooking. They're 6th in the league in total yards, 2nd in scoring, and their rushing game, like it's not all just Josh Allen getting them these yards. Their rushing game is 8th in the league. James Cook has the 7th most rush yards on 5.3 yards a carry. Josh Allen, like you mentioned, after week 1 has definitely come alive. He's playing like himself. 75% completion percentage, 260 pass yards a game, which is 6th in the league. 9 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, and we know that 3 of those 4 came in week 1. So obviously, to our point that he's cooking since week 1. He's got the 3rd best QBR in the league, and he's running the ball less than he has in the past, but he still has 2 rushing touchdowns, so he's still contributing on the ground, even though he's not running the ball as much as he has in the past. And, of course, Stefon Diggs, he's 5th in the league in receptions, 7th in yards, and 1st in touchdowns, tied with Tyreek Hill. So, the offense is just going on all cylinders. They have all 3 phases of the offense. Like the quarterback is – or 2 phases, 2 phases. The receiving and the rushing game are both going crazy, and Josh is the general to lead them through all of it. So offense is not a worry for me, especially against the defense. That's the 22nd pass defense in the league. They do have the 9th best rush defense, which I was kind of surprised about, but I don't think it's enough to like overcome the deficit that they're going to see with their pass defense against Josh Allen. Trevor Lawrence is he's playing average so far this year. He's, most major categories, he's dead in the middle. I mean, he's 14th in yards per game, 17th in passer rating. QBR is 20. He's at 22, which is a little bit low, but he is throwing at 67%, 4 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. So he's not playing bad. He's just playing average. And so is Travis Etienne. He's only averaging 3.8 yards a carry right now. And Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk are the leading receivers on this team. And Evan Ingram is actually the leading receiver on the team. So, like you said, the Calvin Ridley connection is working as well as they would have hoped so far. And for all those reasons, I'm definitely rolling with the Bills to cover the spread and just win. Or of course they'd win because the spread is -5.5. I think they win by 7. Yeah, I mean the Jags just look average. Like they look like a 500 team, and that's obviously what they are right now. But if they continue to play like this, then I think they'll end the year at like 9-8 or something like that.
Well, with Zay Jones being questionable, like you said, the receiving core that you just mentioned, the only 2 guys that lead receiving or lead the team in the receiving, it's very tough. Travis Etienne needs to run the ball a little bit more. I feel like Doug Peterson, I guess we talked about him. He's rebuilding a Jags program that was completely broken down after the Doug Marrone era with Blake Bortles, and they made the playoffs one year. But also what Urban Meyer did as well really broke down that team, and all of a sudden, we thought Trevor Lawrence was a bad quarterback during the Urban Meyer tension. Then all of a sudden, he played better without Urban Meyer, and Doug Peterson and that relationship is great. Jags are 2-2. I don't think it's just panic mode for them because the AFC South is going to be completely garbage. It's going to come down to what it was last year. It came down to the final game or the final 2 games of the year. It came down to the Titans and Jacksonville Jaguars to win the division. I get that the Jacksonville Jaguars are.
Well, I think the Colts and the Texans have both proven that they could be.
No, I was just talking about last year in general. I was just talking about.
Yeah, I don't think it's similar to last year because I think that all 4 of these teams have a chance to win it, and I really don't think the Titans are going to be that good by the end of the year.
Not yet. We don't know, but not yet. I was just talking about Jacksonville in general as far as what they went through. Jacksonville Jaguars was 3-7 last year. They were 3-7. They had a huge win against the Baltimore Ravens. That huge comeback win. I guess it was an overtime, whatnot. And then they won the rest. They won the rest of the games, so they lost 1 game going forward. I thought I'd seen a lot, or I expected a lot from Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not sure what the personnel is with Doug Peterson. I'm not sure who's calling the plays. If it's Doug Peterson or if it's an offensive coordinator from upstairs. I feel like the play call needs to get right. You need to run the ball more. They're not running it as well. You're telling me that Travis Etienne only has 260 yards rushing on the ground and 1 touchdown in 5 games? Like, where's the running game? Now I understand they've been down big against the Texans and all this other stuff, but I want the Jacksonville Jaguars to open up the playbook a little bit more. You have to open it up. You have Trevor Lawrence back there. Open up the playbook just a little bit more. We sit there and we talk about play calling. Every video we're going to talk about play calling. But how many times do we keep saying Trevor Lawrence is a top 5 quarterback, he's this and he's that, and he's playing average? Like, what is the problem with Jackson? What is the problem with Jacksonville? They don't really have that many damn injuries. I mean, they have a couple guys, Zay Jones I just mentioned, but it's just like, are we blind? Did we hype them up too much compared to what we saw last year? Are they actually frauds? Kind of like the Giants were. They made the playoffs, and then all of a sudden they suck right now. But what do we think of Jacksonville? Are they going to be a wild card, or are they just going to be another one of those teams that's going to be, you'll find out till week 11 if they're actually a good fucking team or not?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's super early, so I don't want to say, he's hasn't lived up to expectations just because he was just drafted a couple years ago. But Trayvon Walker has really been and like I said, I don't want to use the word disappointment yet, but just, being the number one overall pick in 2022, he hasn't done really anything that proves to me that he should have been the number one pick in that year's draft. And I don't want to shit on the organization too hard, but like the Jags have been bad for a while, and they've had a couple flashes of being good, but for the most part, they've been bad since like we were like 6 years old. So, like I mean, I'm trying not to shit on them too hard, but like from an organizational standpoint, like they've been messing up for a while, and I understand they've got a new owner now, and his first hire was Urban Meyer, so who knows where they're going? Who knows where they're going with this? With the Jags as a whole, but they obviously Trevor was the pick to make, but then the following year they have the number one pick again, and they pick Walker, who's not played like a number one pick at all. And so and Doug's not calling the plays, someone else is calling the plays. And, the Eagles had their success with Doug when he was the play caller. And, I'm pretty sure he called the plays at some point last year as well during that run. So I don't know why he's like insistent on not calling the plays this year, but I'm with you. I think he should be calling them based on his track record of success. But what's wrong with them? They're just a dumpster fire of an organization. They always have been since Fred Taylor was there. Like after he left in like 2004 or whatever. Like after that, it was wraps, and they've been toast ever since.
It's just sad. I want Jacksonville to be better, but I don't know. Like I said, it's early in the season, so I'm not gonna go too much into that right now. But I think this will be a good game to watch. It'll bring some ratings. I don't know what I put in my bet just yet, but I might put over 50. I think both teams will score at least over 50 points. But we'll have to figure that out. The next game we're getting to, another primetime game, kickoff at 4:05. It could be a potential playoff matchup. Not NFC Championship game, maybe a wild card or an NFC divisional round game. The Rams versus the Eagles. Yes, I know I said it early in the season. I said that the Rams is going to make the playoffs, and there was a couple people on Total Pro Nation that looked at me like I was damn crazy. I said, well, the Rams have always been a good team. The Rams are not going to miss the playoffs, no, back-to-back. Matthew Stafford is still banged up a little bit, but I feel like this is a young team. I can feel like this team could possibly upset the Eagles, but we'll talk about that in the next 2 minutes. It's Lambo Sports. We'll talk about the Eagles versus the Rams in 5 minutes. Goodbye.